So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lorenzo Zullo, one of the co-founders of Chemycal, and I would like to present you a bit which are our core activities and invite you to visit us at the booth at Chemspec. If I should describe our company, I would say that it's a very young company. We were founded in 2015, so this is our 4th year of operation. And we are mainly working on two main areas. The first one is on monitoring informations, mainly related to regulatory areas of chemicals from all over the world. And the second area, which we started to approach already since 2 years, it's in the area of blockchain, and in particular the development of solution for tracking the use of chemicals along the full supply chain. Next slide, please. So we've developed a lot of know-how in terms of IT technologies that help us to understand which are the current emerging trends around the world in the area of chemicals. This comes from one industry need, in particular, to address the emerging and quickly evolving regulatory frameworks that regulate the use of chemicals. So when we talk about chemicals, there is a very broad range of legislation that exists, are currently in place, and are also going to be developed in different countries. And this regulation could impact the use of chemicals during their entire life cycle. So during the manufacturing process, during the use of the chemicals, but also during the service life of the articles that contain such chemicals. So it's becoming more and more challenging to stay ahead of these developments and to better understand which chemicals are potentially impacted by regulation in the near future. Of course, nanomaterials is one important area that we monitor, because there are an increasing attention that the society and regulators are giving to this type of materials to better understand their properties and whether they could have any potential impacts. So that's also something that we monitor. In practical, how we operate, we have developed a system that allows us to understand which are the new emerging information coming from several hundreds information sources all around the world. And on a daily basis, we scan all these information sources. We extract the information that are relevant for better understanding which are the trends and emerging regulations. And we classify all those information into our databases according to topics and according to substances. So this allows company to create an account, select their portfolio of chemicals, and remain fully informed of which are the emerging trends that are potentially impacting their chemicals, so they can proactively take decisions, some strategic decision also to mitigate the risks that could appear in the near future. Next slide, please. So we have a database of more than 140,000 substances organized in 20 different sectors and more than 50 different products. So you can really select the substances, the products, and the sector in which you operate, and you will remain informed on which are the emerging trends or emerging risks in the area of regulators. Next slide, please. So if you have not already tried our products, you can subscribe for a free day trials. You can also contact us, and we will help you to set up an account to better understand how we operate and which type of information can become very useful for your companies. Next slide, please. And now I would like to present briefly our new area of activities that is regarding the tracking of chemicals along the supply chain by using the blockchain technologies. One of the main challenges that the industry and the societies in general are currently facing is the capacity to understand which chemicals are present in their product and to have a better understanding of the life cycle of chemicals. This can be an information that can be easily accessible at the beginning of the supply chain during the production processes, but then this information gets lost during the service life of the chemicals and the products where they are used. And such information becomes almost inaccessible at the end of the life cycle of the products. There are already several regulations that require to keep track of this information on chemicals We are talking, for instance, about substances of very concern in products, and this is something that is required in Europe, but we are also looking at the tracking of use of nanomaterials along the full value chain, which is required already by different countries in Europe and in other places outside Europe. So this is the challenge that we are trying to address, to be able to have a full tracking system that allows to understand where the chemicals are used and their life cycle overall. Next slide, please. So one more click, please. So this is a very schematic representation of a supply chain. The concept is that the supply chain can be very complex. We are talking about companies that exchange chemicals and products across multiple sectors, across regions, all over the world. And really, this complexity makes it very difficult to keep track and exchanging information on chemicals, and to have solid information that starts from the manufacturer of the chemicals and arrives down to the final end of the value chain. And this is some companies have tried to address it by using some centralized system. We have seen that, for instance, in the automotive sector, they are very advanced in this type of information. However, the current existing solutions are very limited for a specific part of the supply chain or limited to specific industry sector. And what we really miss is a single unique system that could allow to trust and allow companies to exchange information among each other. And we believe that blockchain could be a very suitable solution that avoid the need to have all the information stored in a single place. So all actors in the supply chain will be able to have full control of the information that they share, and they will be able to pass over this value chain their information. The idea, we have created this project, is called ChemChain, and the idea is really to function in two ways. The first one is to allow to have a system that can be used for transferring information on chemicals along the value chain, but in the same time also to have a system that allows to trace this chemical along the value chain. That means that if you produce a chemicals, you will be able to use ChemChain for both transferring information down the value chain related to your product and chemicals, but also to have a better understanding on where your specific chemicals are used, in which sectors and in which applications. Next slide, please. We are proceeding quite fast with this project. We have also created a small consortium in the framework of the Horizon 2020 with different industry associations, including NEA, that are supportive of this project. And currently what we are doing, we are developing a prototype, and we are planning to run a pilot case before Chemspec event in June. So we are very excited about that, because I think it will be a great opportunity to present the outcome of this work and to be able to have a prototype that can be shown to all those that will come to Chemspec and visit our booth. I think that's it from my side. I hope you found these topics very of interest to you, and if you want to know more, feel free to contact us to our email address, info@chemycal.com, and or to visit us at